one of the 3 races this weekend.
I spoke to all 4 guys just the other day, Cromley. We had a V8 Supercar breakfast in the heart of Melbourne. They were all in great spirits.
They eat healthy?
They did. And they were at each other's throats. But they were also in really good spirits. And the interesting thing was to see how relaxed, in particular, Rick Kelly was. He doesn't want to let this championship go. But he knows that once people start saying mathematically you're a chance.
I think that might hinder our progress a little bit, just developing understeer just before throttle. So it means that first goes to feel a little bit more on the next set.
Rick Kelly talking to Eric Hendon. He's got a little bit of understeering. He wants to tip a bit more oversteer in the car for the new tyre set just to get the front to point better.
The tyres go off exceptionally quick, so that change I'd suggest for a race. You may have to use change 1 Romeo down the left. Yep.
Quite a few drivers are actually asking to put more turn into their car. They're lifting the rear roll centres on the car to try and get the front end to connect a little better. So remember, for many of them, this is the first time they've had new tyres on the car this weekend. New tyres always give you more traction, in particular, a lot of drive. Drive promotes understeer, so they're trying to adjust their way out of that at the moment. Not a lot of pace, 35 even still for Jamie Whincup. These are the guys that are on the bubble at the moment, 21 through 31. And Owen Kelly's at the bottom of that list with Simon Wills. And only a heartbeat to go now before this session is done. They've got to beat a 35.8. That's amazing, isn't it? The first 20 positions, therefore, are covered by 0.8 of a second.
The news for the championship contenders is all good. They're up there. The news for Stephen Johnson, he is right on the bubble in 21st. Andrew Jones is ahead of him. Steve Owen has now jumped up into 20th. Jones has been pushed down to 21st. So what has Stephen Johnson got in the bank? The top of this list is changing by the second. Paul Morris is now 20th. So Ken Jr. post a time to take him through.
Beautiful Jim Beam racing cars. Really looked the part, and wasn't a great day for them yesterday. They've been struggling just a little in the last few races. Good sector split there for Stephen. He had a little run-off yesterday, ended up in the sand trap on his best tyre set. Obviously that doesn't help the cause. And Will, a little bit like a lot of the people in the field at the moment, just got really scruffy practice tyres that are too old, done too many miles, and I think you'll find there could be a rule change for the way tyres are managed in 2008 to avoid this dead tyre scenario for practice.
His mark is 135.819. Stephen Johnson hasn't been outside the top 20 in qualifying since Eastern Creek round 5. Has he done it? No. He will stay in the bottom half of that group there. So what's been such a strong performance, especially over the last 5 rounds, Cromley, he's been inside the top 10 since Sandown.
Sorry, mate. We missed out by 600.
Isn't that heartbreaking? 600ths of a second, but the championship leader, Jamie Whincup, is through. The 200-man, Mr. Mark Scaife, is through. Garth Tand is in there. So is Todd Kelly, but so is Lowndes and so is Rick Kelly. So all 4 guys in the title race make it through comfortably to the next leg of qualifying. So does the Tasman Motorsport entries of Murphy and Richards, and Paul Morris makes the cutoff. Shane Van Gisbergen, another good performance, and Russell Ingall in his last drive for Ford and SBR here at Phillip Island will be in it as well.
Now open. Thanks, Benny.
The intensity's about to lift again. 15-minute clock has started. Leg 2 underway. I just noticed, Cromley in pit lane there, that they pulled Russell Ingall back towards the garage, so I might get the fellas onto that. The guys who survived and who are in: Jamie Whincup, Scaife, Garth Tander, Todd Kelly. There's Mark Scaife with the 200 on his car. Craig Lowndes, Rick Kelly, Mark Winterbottom and Lee Holdsworth, Stephen Richards, James Courtney, Greg Murphy, Jason Richards, Will Davison. We've got Jason Bright, Max Wilson, Shane Price, Russell Ingall, as I mentioned, in pit lane still, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cam McConville and Paul Morris.
Probably no huge surprises in those that didn't make it, although Steve Owens had pretty good form lately, so I think he'll be disappointed. It was a tough day yesterday also for Paul Dumbrell. They changed the steering rack in that car. They lost a lot of time, so his woes continue.
Last minute call for SBR's Russell Ingall. Just wanted some more bite in the front, so they've just made a slight front aero dam change, just with the blanking that goes in the front of the air dam there. A last minute call. That was the reason for the quick pushback, boys.
Well, Stephen Johnson, the last 8 rounds, you've been inside the top 20, just not today.
No, it's one of those things, you know. The car's actually quite dreadful at the moment, so we got a lot of understeer in this, you know, around this place. I mean, if you've got a bit too much understeer at Tasmania, for instance, you know, it's all stop-start corners, so you can at least slow the car down and get it turned and get out of there, and you can get away with it. But here, it's so flowing and so fast that if you've got no steer, you just won't keep any corner speed, and you'll lose a lot of lap time. So we haven't got any turn, so we're really struggling.
Well, mate, good luck for race 1.
We'll be right, thanks.
They'll be right. They've certainly fought back this year. They had a good start, tough middle section of the year, and then they really fought back. In fact, Junior's only been out of the points in 1 race since Bathurst.
The point that Stevie makes is a really good one. Whatever condition your car has at Phillip Island, the nature of the racetrack is that it's amplified. If you've got a car that understeers, that doesn't respond correctly to the driver's steering input, it'll understeer a lot and it hammers the front right tyre. If you've got a car that oversteers with the back of the car sliding, again, typically the right rear tyre really stresses, and as the races wear on, they get this dreadful greasy feeling, and you just end up being a lame duck where you've got no performance and you just roll around. So that's clearly the issue there at the moment. So DJR will go to work and try and cure that.
Managing the tyres through qualifying has always been a bit of a headache for some of the teams. Just on the second leg, Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes, both 888 cars, are starting this second leg on their first set of tyres, so plenty still in the bank for those guys, as are Winterbottom and Richards. Both SBR cars have started this on their second set of tyres, the greens, and so too have the Toll cars, both on greens, Tander and Kelly.
Remember that Garth Tander in Tasmania pulled a very slick move by hanging on to a couple of tyre sets for the critical third leg of qualifying. So he managed to get through leg 1 and leg 2 on the 1 set of tyres, and obviously you can only do that if you've got great car speed, and he had that down there. Winterbottom now to the top on that lap. We were watching a 35 even. No one's broken a 35 yet. Isn't that interesting? Stephen Richards, his teammate, is second fastest from Jamie Whincup. Now Whincup gets into the 34s. He's done a 34.87. This bloke's come on massively in 2007. Next year, if they don't have any dramas, he's going to contest the championship.
That time from Jamie has been responded by Todd Kelly, 34.6. So in the space of just a few seconds, we've now got 4 men who've gone under 35. Todd Kelly, Garth Tander, Jamie Whincup, Lee Holdsworth, and now add Rick Kelly to that list.
Whincup here at the hairpin. It's only about 70 kilometres an hour down there at turn 4. One of the real challenges for the engineers around this track is to get the cars to work on the medium high-speed corners, but also not to be completely useless at the 2 really slow corners, which are both 70 Ks.
Ask and you shall receive. You want a 134s? 6 guys have delivered. The latest, Jason Richards, has joined the gang. 134.29 is the fastest time.
Well, the trick here is learning the conditions again. They're very smart in the engineering huts up and down this pit lane, so they work out very quickly, you know, what matters and what doesn't with the wind and the weather and the variations in the atmosphere. This is a great shot through Hayshed Corner, on board there with Rick Kelly looking over his shoulder. It is a massive commitment required to get through that right-hander. It's one of, in fact, I would go so far as to say that together with what we call metal graded Bathurst, I reckon it is the bit of road in this country. My hair stands up just even thinking about being in a race car around that bit of road. 4th gear. Watch what Rick does. Does he grab 5th? No, he holds 4th. Long wait on the throttle. 5th on the exit. And then you get a little glimpse at your crew on the left here. It's always top gear change just before the bridge. And it's 280 plus kilometres an hour at the bottom. 5th. Third, turn 2. Got to be really patient with the throttle here. So 0, 0, 0. Then he picks it up late in the corner. 4th on the exit. And turn 3. You need big bravery around here. And it's on the rev limiter down there. The car's very quick and hooked up through there. As the tyre condition worsens, you can't always get through there clean, flat. That's the 70k turn I was talking about down at turn 4. Up to 3rd for Siberia, they call this turn 5, because it's out in the middle of nowhere. 4th, and then Hayshed. 5th, this is an awesome corner. Look at the amount of chasing he's got to do, and you're almost out of road. I mean, it's fractions of millimetres on the left side of the car as you approach Lukey Heights. And right there, whoa, he's had a big moment. You see how loose the car got over the top of the hill. And that's aborted that lap effectively for Rick. He's going well, position 2, 34.5. It's probably hurting that little blue there. Here it is from outside the car. Rear brakes, whoa, all locked up. Tries to grab second. He actually ended up much wider over Lukey Heights than he wanted to because he carried too much speed going in. It's all part of the delicate balance of getting around this racetrack.
Worthwhile checking in with Craig Lowndes right now because he's in 18th position. Only really posted one decent flying lap. It was a 1:35.88. So Rick Kelly inside the top 2. Garth Tander is up there with him. He's in 4th. Jamie Whincup is in 5th. The other part of the puzzle is right here, down in 18th. Only Paul Morris and Cam McConville behind him. So if you're on this part of the totem pole, you're in trouble. It's headed by Mark Scaife.
Campbell, you call it. Lap, mate. This lap.
He's struggling. Even you can tell in Craig's voice.
Okay.
It's like, what are we going to do here? So it's trapped him. You know, whatever's changed in the conditions one day to another, they're just having a bit of a battle at the moment trying to figure out what to do to rectify. For 40k pit lane speed limit. And here's the variation in the pit lane entry now. Much cleaner and neater.